Well, we're going to do a little experimenting here in the kitchen. I'm going to do she crab soup. Got this recipe in Charleston, South Carolina. And while I'm working, I will tell you the story about the she crab soup. I hope you can see okay. I'm going to have a problem with this. You know, I don't have enough space for anything. So, we're going to start out with my, I have to saute some vegetables. We've got a half cup, or cup, it's supposed to be a cup, it's not quite a cup, of celery. I'm going to put in the skillet, and I've already put in my Worcestershire sauce, my Tabasco sauce, and it called for sherry, but I had a little red cooking wine. I don't keep sherry on hand, so we're going to go with that instead. And this is what's in the skillet, and I'm going to saute the celery, a fourth cup of carrots, they're grated carrots, and a fourth cup of chopped onion. Everything cut fairly fine. I don't like things too heavy. So, we're going to let this saute a little bit. And we'll talk. How about that? I was in Charleston for a week at Christmas time. Now, the way it happened, I had decorated for Christmas one of Jan's boss's offices, and I didn't realize he gave me a gift certificate. He knew I was going to Charleston for the week, so he gave me a gift certificate for two at the Peninsula Grill. Now, if you're not familiar with the places in Charleston, Peninsula Grill is what you call high-end. Oh my, $150 gift certificate. Now, I think I could find a pretty nice dinner for $150. That's for two of us, you know, my friend. We decided to get away for Christmas. We didn't want all the hullabaloo that goes on. And so, let's go to Charleston. So we did. Now, we've had our dinner. The next morning we get up. It's Christmas Day. It's time to do a little roaming around, see what we can find, and find a nice place to eat. Well, it just so happened that the hotel we were staying in was the Venue Inn, and it was not serving breakfast on Christmas Day. We've been getting breakfast every morning, nice big breakfast. So Christmas Day, no breakfast. Okay, that's okay. We go out and find someplace. Well, we started walking, and it was about 35 degrees that week. Pretty cold for Charleston, but we managed okay. We were well wrapped up in our winter coats and all. So we start walking street by street. You never get tired of looking in Charleston. So, couldn't find any place, no place open for breakfast. Okay, well, we're taking our time. We don't have anything else to do but go street by street, looking at all the sights down by the Battery and watching the people moving around. There really weren't very many people moving around. That we discovered. Lunchtime came. We still couldn't find any place to eat. I'm starting to get a little bit hungry. But we keep on going. We're enjoying ourselves, and we want to see all the sights and the Christmas decorations and everything. So we spent the rest of the day just roaming up and down, round and about. starts getting dark. What are we going to do now? We got nothing to do and nobody to talk to. And my stomach's starting to growl. It's about 7 o'clock. We walk in to the hotel, the Vendu Inn, and we come across one of the staff members, and I said to her, "Honey, I am so hungry." Hope you can hear me okay. "I am so hungry. Do you think you could find something in the kitchen for me to eat?" She said, "Well, I'll go back. I'll look and see what I can find." So I waited, and she came out with a bowl of soup and some crackers. Well, that was going to be fine. So I sat out near the front desk. There was nothing going on, just the people who were working on Christmas Day. And I started eating that sea crab soup. Now, I don't like seafood, and I figured I won't like sea crab soup. I've never eaten it before, and I'm just not sure. But when you get so hungry, you just kind of forget those thoughts. And I started eating that soup, and I thought, oh my gosh, this is the best stuff I ever ate. It was so good, so good. So while I was there that week, after the next day, everything was open up again. We went out, and I happened to run across a little cookbook, Charleston cookbook. I think I've got it over here somewhere. Let's see if I can find it. Not sure which one it is. But it's one of these little cookbooks that you find, in the gift shops and all. And so I went ahead and bought it, and I got to looking through, and oh my gosh, these recipes look so good. Let's see if this is the one that has the, okay, here it is. 82 Queen, that's Queen Street. It was right up the street from where we were staying. Award-winning she crab soup. So that's where I got my recipe, in one of these little Charleston cookbooks. So I came home and I decided I would give it a try. So I did. I liked it, and it's been a long time since I've made it again. I'm using the canned crab. You buy the crab, it's expensive. So I just bought the canned crab, and I'm using 2 cans. I'm going to turn this off and just let it finish up there. Now I'm going to, while this is sauteing, I'm going to do my roux. I've got my 1 stick of butter is in the Dutch oven. I hope it'll work okay. We're going to find out, that's for sure. Let me find one of my big spoons here. The ones I like best. Nice big wooden spoons. I bought a whole set of these, and they're really nice. So, this recipe calls for 3 cups of milk. Well, I'm using half and half because I've had my 2% milk for a little while, and I'm not sure how good it is. So if I can get this apart, I'm having half and half. Ah, here we go. We're getting that off. Everything's always too tight for me. Okay. Well, first of all, I'm getting ahead of myself. I've got to put flour in. I'm going to take let's see, did it call for? Yeah, this is what it calls for. I'm going to start stirring my flour in with my butter. Now, I'm not very good at things like this, so this is an experiment for me as well as for you. So I'm going to keep adding the flour. I hope I got that measurement right. You know, I think it called for half a cup. I better get back over there and get me another quarter cup of flour. Hold on just a second. I'll be right back. Okay, I'm back. I'll keep stirring this till it smooths out, little at a time. I don't know if you've ever been to Charleston or not, but it happens to be my favorite place. I've been there, about a dozen times, which surprises even me that I managed to get to go down different times of the year. Christmas is a nice time to go, but keep in mind, if you're going Charleston Christmas Day, you better have hotel reservations where they provide your breakfast, dinner, and supper, because there's not much to do on Christmas Day. I found that out, but that was okay. We managed okay. But the restaurant we went to for our gift certificate dinner, the Peninsula Grill, oh, it was busy that night, really busy. And I ordered steak. I always order steak. When I've got a gift certificate like that, I'm going to order the best thing they got on the menu. So I ordered the steak. The waitresses were running back and forth. I don't know how they kept up with what they were doing. But it was so busy and so crowded. And my feet were so cold, I was tempted to wear my sneakers in and hide. Well, I was going to wear my sneakers to the restaurant and leave them in a bush outside the main door. Well, my friend, she says, you're not leaving your sneakers in a bush and putting on my high heel shoes. No way was she going to let me walk in there with those sneakers stuck in a bush somewhere, because I really didn't want people to see me wearing the sneakers with my pretty Christmas outfit. So anyway, I'm going to let this simmer a little bit. I'm taking a chance, folks, when I'm doing this. Anything I do for the first time, and not really the first time, but it's been so long it might as well be the first time, because I don't do things too well when we gotta let it simmer a little bit. Getting a little color to it. Let me see which I put in first. Okay, I'm doing it right so far. I have to add 3 cups of milk. Like I said, I'm using half and a half because I've had my sweet milk too long and I didn't want to take a chance on it not being good. And you see what I'm doing? Well, you know what I'm doing. Gotta get this stirred up good, yeah. Keep stirring. Stirring and stirring. Yeah. I don't want my milk to clabber on me. Okay, that's 2 cups. Now I've got to put another cup in. Keep going. Oh, gotta get it going good. Ooh, gonna have to turn it down. Yeah, it's too much. A little at a time. I may be making a mess here, and if I do, we'll just make something else out of it. I think maybe I may have put too much flour in. Okay, we'll work with that. If I did, we'll add more milk. Need to give it a little bit of salt. A little bit of pepper. Keep stirring. It's going to be a thick soup. Yeah, it sure is. Now this calls for a cup. Yeah, and that's exactly what I've got. 1 cup. Doesn't look that great when you're stirring it and it's thick, but I think I'm going to get it calmed down to where it just be a nice heavy bisque. There we go. Yeah. And it called for, if I needed, a little water. So I'm going to add a little water, thin it down some. You're having fun, aren't you, watching me do this? Now I'm going to tell you a fact. I'm not a cook. Never have been. I just have those few recipes I like best. They're the ones you use all the time, and you figure eventually you get them perfected to suit your taste buds. And that's good enough for me. But I'm best at making party foods. Little snacks, little sandwiches, cheese balls, dips, oh, all sorts of things like that, you know. And I really do like to make party foods. One of my favorite things is the candied grapes. Now, I know you've eaten the candied grapes. Get those great big white grapes, real sweet. Dip them in white chocolate. Oh, you can't get enough of them. Now, I'm going to put my sauteed vegetables in. I think I've got it just about right now, because this looked like gravy. I don't know that I can show you, but you know what gravy looked like. Whoop, kind of hot. Let's see if I can hold it so that you can get you can see it a little bit. Get this bottle out of the way. It just looks like gravy. I'm going to put in my sauteed vegetables. They don't look pretty, but they're good. Yeah, I think we're going to have a good dish here. Okay. Now I'm going to stir a little more. Get just enough celery. The celery called for a cupful. The carrots, 1/4 of a cup. And 1/4 of a cup of onions. I would have thought it would call for more onion, but it didn't. So anyway, I'm going to keep stirring this. We're going to have a nice, big, thick bowl of soup. Now, got to get my crab in it. See, this is what the canned crab looks like. It's all broken up. We'll put it in a little at a time. Get it stirred in good. I may even have to add more milk to it. I'm thinking maybe I will, because it looks pretty thick to me. I know it's supposed to be thick, but I don't think it's supposed to be this thick. I'm going to get my milk out of the fridge. And I'm going to put about another half cup. Okay. Keep stirring. I've got it on low. Really a simple recipe. If you know how to make gravy, you can make this. Because your rule calls for just milk and heavy cream. Okay, a little more milk. Yeah, let's just finish it up. Stir and stir. Well, my story was shorter than I thought it would be. I thought maybe I could stretch it out a little bit, but I didn't. But I'll tell you this. For dessert that night, we had the Charleston coconut cake. Charleston is famous for their, I don't know, it's about a 6 or 7 layer coconut cake, and I'm telling you, it is so good. I got the recipe thinking one of these days I'd make it, because you can order a cake from there, but I think by now if you order their coconut cake, it's going to cost you about $100. I don't know if that includes the shipping or not, but I don't think I'm worth $100 in coconut cake. So I thought, well, I'll get the recipe and I'll just make it myself. Let me tell you something. The ingredients in that recipe cover a whole page. Why, I would spend the whole day gathering the ingredients for the cake. So while we were there, we said, okay, every place in Charleston serves Charleston coconut cake. It's so well known. It and the she crab soup. Those are the two things that you want to order when you're traveling through Charleston. So my friend said, well, I'll drive around the block. It's awful hard to find a place to park. I said, okay, you go around the block and I'll run in this little restaurant and I'll get us a piece of coconut cake. We'll take it with us to our villa. That piece of cake was, how can I say, it was this big. You know how a triangle is. It was part of it and you got the rest. That was the biggest piece of cake I've ever seen. And it was as good as it was big. Now, I'll tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to get me a spoon. And I'm going to go ahead and sample this. See how it tastes. And I'll be honest with you. If it's not good, you're not going to try this recipe. Okay. Got my vegetables in there. Find me a big spoon here. And hope it's not too hot. Not bad. Just needs a little more flavor. It's getting better. I should have let my vegetables saute a little bit longer, about 3 more minutes, because they're not cooked quite enough, but it doesn't change the flavor. Well, this is something Jan can eat with her mouth and facial problems. She came by this afternoon. Bless her heart. She's had the biopsy. Gotta wait and see what that shows. And she keeps rubbing Vaseline on her lips constantly. But she has to. She has to be careful what she eats. She can't eat crunchy thing, salty, spicy thing. But I had made some chicken salad, and it was made with grapes. I chopped the celery up real fine, and I chopped up the pecan very fine too, so that they wouldn't be big and chunky. She said she could eat that, not on a sandwich, but she could eat it with some crackers. She said she'd been told to drink these, what are those liquid canned drinks that's supposed to be like a meal. She said she had 2 cans of that stuff. She said, I wanted food. And I just went in the kitchen and I started hunting till I found something I could chew on. So she forgot her chicken salad I had put aside to take home with her. But she's going to be coming back in town tomorrow. And I'm going to have this she crab soup ready for her, and I think she'll like it. It'll be filling for her. She's handling her situation real well. She doesn't need a lot of advice. She's got good doctors, and so far things are looking up. My situation, I think, is starting to clear up, and I actually think it was an allergic reaction, reaction. We've had so much pollen, so much that summer weather that everybody gets sick and has allergies. And I've never had an allergy in my life. But I really think the problem with my face was an allergic reaction, because it's already feeling so much better. And the whole time I've been standing here doing this, eating this, talking to you, haven't felt a pain. So, I'm thinking by the end of the week, I'm going to be in good shape. And I hope Jan is too. And she really appreciates all of your concerns. She's been helpful to me in some of the things I've needed done that I can't do and she can do. So I'm expecting her back tomorrow. She's got to finish up a little computer project for me. And I'm going to see if I can have her something good to eat that she had no problem with. And folks, try the she crab soup. If you know how to make a roux, you won't have a bit of trouble. Get you some good crab meat. Now, like I said, I used the canned crab meat. I don't have any idea what it'd be like if you got the fresh crab, but I know it would cost you a lot of money. So give it a try. And I'm going to go in right now, as soon as this simmers about 10 more minutes. I'm going to fix me a bowl. And I've got a box of saltine crackers. Haven't had saltine crackers in 20 years. And one day I just decided I think I'll get me a box of crackers. That's what we grew up on, you know. You didn't eat Campbell's tomato soup and Campbell's vegetable soup without saltine crackers. So I said it's time I sampled a few saltine crackers again. So I got plenty of them, plenty of soup, and I'll let you know how the end result is after I get through eating. I'm glad you're with me. I appreciate all the wonderful compliments you've given me on my craft work and what have you. Now, what I will tell you about my craft work and my, or what you call arts and crafts, I'm not what you call talented. I told one reporter who asked me how I got into the craft business. I said, well, it's simple. I had champagne taste and a beer pocketbook. I would see the things I liked, things I wanted for myself. I couldn't afford them, so I'd give them a once-over, good-looking research on them, and I'd go home and I'd make whatever it was I saw. I did the same thing when Jan was little. I made all of her clothes. When I say clothes, I mean dresses. I didn't make shirts and pants and things. Little girls didn't wear those things. They wore dresses. I made all of her clothes, and I bought remnants of fabric, remnants of lace, rickrack, what have you. And I went to a little children's shop where they had these Cinderella dresses, the kind of dresses you wanted your little girl to look like a doll in. And I'd look over the new dresses that they'd just gotten in. Oh my goodness, how I wanted to buy those dresses for her. But I examined them closely. Then I went around the corner to the fabric shop. I found remnants of fabric and all of the trimmings, and I went home, and Jan got a new dress, just as pretty as the Cinderella dresses I'd seen in the children's shop. So I continued making her clothes even in high school. Some of her friends would come by and they'd just say, oh, we just hate you. I'd say, why? And they'd say, Jan comes to school every Monday morning wearing a new outfit. I said, well, they're easy for me to make, and it keeps me busy. You've got to keep yourself occupied if you want to be happy. You've got to learn how to do things you never did before, and when you realize, gee, I did a good job with that, you continue learning. Everything is new. Everything you do, it's a new one. And each time you do a craft project, it gets better. And I've sold a lot of my things. I've decorated homes at Christmas for a Christmas tour of home. Love decorating houses where they have beautiful antiques. Oh my God. First time I decorated was near Nashville, Tennessee, and the lady sold antiques out of her house, so everything in her house was an antique. And I brought quite a few things with me to add to the decorations. We went on the tour of homes, And I have to admit, I don't care if I was the one doing the decorating. She was the one that had the furniture and the supplies and everything for decorating. Her house was the prettiest and most festive on the tour of homes. I was very proud, very proud. So that's the kind of thing I like to do. And that's what I do so that I don't get lonely. I don't get bored. I don't sit around and whine, as some people do. You know, people do. They whine because they don't know what to do. I was never in a position like that. I always had a project. And it would be a craft project or a sewing project, or it might be helping someone redecorate their house. So that's what's gotten me through the years, except for 2 kids that I had to chase after and see where they were and what they were up to. For myself, I entertain myself by doing craft work. And I'm going to tell you, the morning we heard on the TV that John F. Kennedy had been shot in Texas, I was sitting in the kitchen at my kitchen table making doll clothes for Jan's doll for Christmas. I've always remembered that. I've always remembered the assassination, what I was doing, where I was when I heard the announcement on the television. When you get the news in a situation like that, you never forget where you were and what you were doing. So, I'm about ready to fix my bowl of soup, and thank you for watching. I'll have another story for you soon. Takes me a little while to get the table cleaned off from one thing to another, and I'm still trying to find places to put Fostoria. So I'll come up with a few hidden places. But I like my Fostoria. It's really very pretty. I've said enough. You take care. And no more worries about Jan and me. We will come through all of this just fine. I feel great. And she's going to get better too. We'll keep you informed. Thanks a bunch.